But the principle, the metabolic principle between the 5-2 metabolically makes more sense than the 16-8.
Hi, I'm Magnus. I've been a trainer and nutritionist for more than 20 years. And today we're doing a special. We're going to do a 3-part series with my friend, client, and professor, Suzanne Devkota. So Suzanne is a scientist and a professor of medicine at Cedars-Sinai here in Los Angeles and at UCLA. So what is it that you specialize in?
So my background is actually in nutritional sciences. I did a master's in nutritional sciences and then a PhD in molecular metabolism and nutrition. But my specialty is actually in the gut microbiome and gut health. So I study how diet and the bacteria in your gut interact to either promote health or actually help us understand more about disease.
So now you know why I wanted here today, because today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting, which is a huge topic. It's so popular, and I get bombarded with questions about intermittent fasting. So here we go. So I get questions all the time about intermittent fasting. Who can do it? Should I be doing it? And is it better than not fasting? And you actually done clinical research on this topic. So I would love to hear what you as an expert have to say about this.
Sure. Fasting it's been practiced since the beginning of time in various forms. Many cultures practice it. It's not a new concept. But where people have sort of innovated on it is how to do it, how to do it to sort of tap into optimal metabolism, promoting weight loss, really fine-tuned it beyond religious practices. Some religions fast for a whole month and, but this is now getting to a scientific level of fasting. I actually am a proponent of intermittent fasting, but there's many ways to do it, and some may not get you to the goals you want to achieve, while others, I believe, will get you there faster. It really depends on what your goals are.
There's different types of fasting, and you've done research on the different types as well, right? Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about the different types of fasting?
Yeah, sure. I think the two types of intermittent fasting that have become popular, or the most popular, are what's called the 5-2 diet, and the other one is called the 16-8 diet. So the 5-2 diet, the principle is if you have a 7-day week, you fast 2 of those days, and then you eat normally on the other 5 days. So what does fasting mean? In that sense, it's a reduction of daily calories to 500 calories for women or 600 calories for men. So that's quite significant if you consider most people are eating 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day. So on your fasting day, let's say you fast on Monday, you eat 500 calories, then you eat normally on Tuesday, you can eat normally on Wednesday, then maybe you fast again on Thursday. The key is you never do your fasts on consecutive days. So that's kind of true intermittent in that it's fast, eat, it's alternating. That's the 5-2 diet. The 16-8 diet refers to a 24-hour day. So that's hours, okay? So what it's saying is you fast from basically the time you go to bed until about lunchtime. That's a 16-hour fast. And then you have an 8-hour eating window. So basically what that is saying skip breakfast. And by skipping breakfast, you're reducing your daily calories. And that's a type of a way to fast that's maybe more palatable to people who find it difficult to fast for an entire 24-hour period. However, the 16-8 will not get you to your goals as quickly as the 5-2 will.
So would you say that the 5-2 is better than the 16-8? Or better for certain things maybe?
Yes. There'll be many examples where people say, well, I lost a lot of weight, or I feel great on the 16-8. And for me, I'm like, fantastic, keep doing it. It's really what works for you. But the metabolic principle between the 5-2 metabolically makes more sense than the 16-8. And the reason is so if you just, let's say you take the old school approach, the 1980s approach of just dieting and drinking diet soda all the time and just drastically reducing calories, all the time, and sort of doing roller coaster dieting. What your body will start to do is think you're in I don't want to say starvation, but in a food scarce mode. So you'll get to a point where you're just not going to shed the fat anymore. What 5-2 does is you reduce calories one day, but then you eat normally the next day, and then you reduce and you eat. So your body knows you're not food deprived. And so it won't hang on to the fat as hard as it would if you were just reducing across the board for weeks at a time. So by doing it intermittently, you actually can tap into the parts of your body that you want to, get rid of the fat. And your body will do it more readily because you're going to then introduce calories the next day. So it's it's a safer way. And it's sort of, you can view it as stoking your metabolism. It's like shock, feed. And it's a very effective way to do that.
How would a fasting day look like on those 2 days? You said 500 calories.
Yeah.
Is that mainly protein then?
That's a big part of it, but not all of it. That's the number one question I get when talking about how do you do what does 500 look like? Because it seems really hard, So in full disclosure, I practice the 5-2 diet. No one pays me to do it, but I just feel really good when I do it, and I might do it for a month at a time, and then I eat my normal diet the rest of the time. The way I do it is, for breakfast, I would have a Greek yogurt, not a very one with fruit or anything, but a more plain Greek yogurt, maybe 150 calories.
I should mention that in some parts of the world, it's not even a Greek yogurt. It's skyr or kesella, it's called in some countries. It's a yogurt that's high in protein. So that's the most important thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not eating Yoplait. It's a protein-rich yogurt. And I try to keep that in the 150 calories or less. And then I'll have a hard-boiled egg. So definitely breakfast is a protein-rich breakfast. And the thinking behind it is, if you eat mostly protein and fibers for your 500 calories, it increases your satiety. So you don't feel hungry. You could do all of your 500 calories eating gummy bears. That would technically work, but I guarantee you'll be miserable, doing it that way. So for breakfast, I'll do the hard-boiled egg and the yogurt. For lunch, it's a huge salad, lots of, spinach, leafy greens, not starchy things. I don't put fruit in there. I don't put corn. It's leafy greens, green peppers, cucumber, sort of low calorie but fiber-rich foods, and just a very slight drizzling of balsamic vinegar and some salt. And you get a really, big fiber load that keeps you full for a long time.
No protein with lunch?
Typically not on that day, just for the caloric purpose. But for dinner, I'll have like a 3-ounce chicken breast, which is another 120 calories. And then I might have like a little, salsa or something with it, and then a steamed vegetable. But then the next day, I definitely, have my protein for 3 meals a day. And I eat almost, what ends up happening is you eat the same foods you eat on your fasting day, you just end up eating more of it.
Yeah.
And that's the habit it actually entrains in you, because you start feeling really good and all you really want to eat are those same foods. In the beginning, you kind of go through this binge on your next day where like ice cream and, because you can theoretically eat all of that. But over time, in every person I've talked to who does this, it entrains a different eating pattern where they just start eating more of the healthy food. So it's a great thing to do after the holidays, for example, after Christmas or Thanksgiving, when you're eating all sorts of stuff. It sort of resets your metabolism. If you've been internationally traveling a lot, do it afterwards. It helps reset your metabolism.
What are the pros with fasting?
So Definitely, the biggest one would be weight loss. Okay, you can definitely lose weight with intermittent fasting. That's usually the primary reason people will do it.
Yeah.
The other reason is what I, just alluded to, which is resetting your metabolism. If you feel you've sort of gone off course, getting back into a regimented eating pattern where you're feeling good again, you can actually kickstart that through even just a week of intermittent fasting, or do 2 weeks of it, and then you'll transition into maybe the way you used to eat before you went off track. But it's a really good tool because there's a whole psychological component as well. And as it just makes you conscious again about looking at labels and paying attention to the calories and looking at proteins and fibers. And when you start, paying attention to labels again, you start naturally select, if you care, if you have fitness goals, it just gets you into that.
You get educated. You actually know what you're eating.
Absolutely.
And why.
And that's the added benefit for people who have never really paid much attention to their diet. By doing intermittent fasting, it forces you to learn about labels and read them and do a little bit of calculations. And really, most people I've talked to when they do it are shocked by what portion sizes they were eating before and how many calories those contain. They never really paid attention before. So this helps you get there as well.
Yeah. What about are there any cons?
It can be unpleasant.
Yeah.
It can be, it's not fun the first few fasting days. You will feel a little sluggish. You will go through a little bit of you don't want to do it if you've got something really important coming up. The first week after that, your body adapts beautifully and it becomes so much easier. But that first few rounds of fasting, they'll be hard, and you might get the brain fog, you might feel sluggish, and so you just want to prepare for that. It's more lifestyle than anything. You need to prepare to do it well. You need to prepare at the beginning of the week and make sure you've gone to the store and have your fasting foods where you don't have to think about it. The more you have to think about, okay, what am I going to eat that's in those calories? And you start getting bogged down by looking at labels. But if you make those selections at the beginning of the week, then everything that's in your fridge fits within that profile.
Yeah.
You don't have to think. So it requires a little bit of planning.
What about someone like me who's already in shape? I know nutrition well, and I don't fast. Do you think I should be fasting, or should I stick to what I'm doing now? Should everyone fast?
No, I don't think everyone should fast. I don't think there's any diet that everybody should do. I think that there are benefits to doing, for someone like you might actually find benefit for very short periods, introducing maybe a 2-week intermittent fast, a 3-week intermittent fast. There are, intestinal benefits, cellular benefits that aren't necessarily related to body composition, physique, but at a microscopic level, we've seen in our lab that there is benefit. Even doing 1 bout of fasting a week, there can be some benefit to that in terms of reducing your baseline inflammation. We all walk around with inflammation in our bodies. It can help reduce that for a period. So, there's no harm in doing it. But I think any physique would find benefit at some level, but it's not a must, certainly, in order to be healthy.
You've actually done some research in the lab on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have done research in part because of personal interest. We do a lot of diet-related work because we're personally interested in these things. So we've been our own guinea pigs for some of these studies. But what we found, since our lab focuses on the gut and gut health and the bacteria and how foods can modify bacteria, we naturally asked, how does intermittent fasting affect the population of bacteria in the gut and in turn inflammatory profile of the intestine. And what we found was that even a single bout of fasting, and this was a total water only 24-hour bout of fasting, actually suppressed what we call pro-inflammatory bacteria in the intestine, and actually promoted a very good health promoting bacteria in the intestine. So the consequence of that is potentially if you fast more than 1 day a week, or if you fast 1 day over multiple weeks, you might be able to continuously suppress pro-inflammatory bacteria and promote the good ones, such that you can actually change the inflammatory tone of your intestines.
This is all super interesting, and I think that it's really important for people out there to know the why and the benefits, and if it's something they should try or not. But it sounds like there's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah, I think if anyone is curious about doing it, give it a try,
Give it a try, people.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try as well, who knows? So if people want to know more about this and they're interested in your work, where can they find you?
You're welcome to follow me on Instagram. Just plug in my name, I'm there. If you have specific questions, you can DM me on Instagram. I try to address all the questions I get. I might be a little slow at times, but feel free to reach out to me there. I love hearing from people who want to improve their health and fitness, and try to be helpful.
Suzanne, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been a pleasure. I'm so happy that people out there get this knowledge for someone like you. I'm lucky I get to spend some time with you outside of the camera as well. So I knew this, but now you guys know. And I always say you become a product of the people you spend the most time with. And I always try to surround myself with experts, and you're definitely one of them. So keep up the good job, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Magnus. I feel the same way.
That's it for today, and we'll be back with some more videos with Suzanne. This is the 3-part series, so hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to press like and hit subscribe. I'll see you next week.